What happens when we die? It's a question as old as humanity itself, one that touches the very core of our existence. The Bible offers profound insight into this mystery. From the moment Jehovah God formed man from dust and breathed life into his nostrils, we were destined to one day return to the earth from which we came. Death is described not as an end, but as a sleep, a sacred rest where thoughts cease and time pauses. Yet woven through these scriptures is a thread of hope. The promise of awakening, the assurance of life beyond the grave, and the invitation to trust in the Creator who knows we are dust, yet remembers us still. And Jehovah God went on to form the man out of dust from the ground, and to blow into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living person. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. Now Jehovah God had been forming from the ground every wild animal from the field and every flying creature of the heavens. Genesis chapter 2, verse 19. In the sweat of your face you will eat bread until you return to the ground. For out of it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you will return. Genesis chapter 3, verse 19. Remember, please, that you made me out of clay, but now you make me return to the dust. Job chapter 10, verse 9. Oh, that in the grave you would conceal me, that you would hide me until your anger passes by, that you would set a time limit for me and remember me. Job chapter 14, verse 13. If he fixes his attention on them, if he gathers their spirit and breath to himself, all humans would perish together, and mankind would return to the dust. Job chapter 34, verses 14 and 15. Look upon me and answer me, O Jehovah my God. Give light to my eyes, so that I may not fall asleep in death. Psalm chapter 13, verse 3. Will you perform wonders for the dead? Can those powerless in death rise up to praise you? Psalm chapter 88, verse 10. For he well knows how we are formed, remembering we are dust. Psalm chapter 103, verse 14. When you hide your face, they are disturbed. If you take away their spirit, they die and return to the dust. Psalm chapter 104, verse 29. His spirit goes out, he returns to the ground. On that very day, his thoughts perish. Psalm chapter 146, verse 4. All are going to the same place. They all come from the dust, and they all are returning to the dust. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 20. For the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing at all. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 5. Whatever your hand finds to do, do with all your might, for there is no work, nor planning, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave where you are going. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 10. Then the dust returns to the earth just as it was, and the spirit returns to the true God who gave it. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 7. Your dead will live, my corpses will rise up. Awake and shout joyfully, you residents in the dust. Isaiah chapter 26, verse 19. For the grave cannot glorify you, death cannot praise you. Those who go down into the pit cannot hope for your faithfulness. Isaiah chapter 38, verse 18. Woe to the one who contends with his Maker, for he is just an earthenware fragment. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 9. Jesus said, "Leave the place, for the little girl did not die but is sleeping." Matthew chapter 9, verse 24. After stepping in, he said to them, "Why are you weeping and causing this commotion? The child has not died, but is sleeping." Mark chapter 5, verse 39. But people were all weeping and beating themselves in grief for her. So he said, "Stop weeping, for she did not die, but is sleeping." Luke chapter 8, verse 52. After he said these things, he added, "Lazarus, our friend, has fallen asleep, but I am traveling there to awaken him." The disciples then said to him, "Lord, if he is sleeping, he will get well." Jesus, however, had spoken about his death. John chapter 11, verses 11 to 13. Then kneeling down, he cried out with a strong voice, "Jehovah, do not charge this sin against them." After saying this, he fell asleep in death. Acts chapter 7, verse 60. David, on the one hand, rendered service to God in his own generation, fell asleep in death, was laid with his forefathers, and did see corruption. Acts chapter 13, verse 36. After that, he appeared to more than 500 brothers at one time, most of whom are still with us, though some have fallen asleep in death. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 6. Look, I tell you a sacred secret. We will not all fall asleep in death. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 51. Moreover, brothers, we do not want you to be ignorant about those who are sleeping in death, so that you may not sorrow as the rest do who have no hope. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 13. Death is not the end, but a profound pause in the rhythm of life. From the dust we were formed, and to the dust we return. Yet Scripture reassures us that this is not our final destiny. In God's eyes, death is a sleep, a rest from which we will awaken at His appointed time. As Jesus demonstrated through His miracles and teachings, there is hope for the future, a promise of resurrection, and life restored. So, while we mourn, we do not do so without hope, trusting in the Creator who gave us life and who will one day call us back from the dust to live again.